It's Sunday morning, and every decent man and woman is listening to Test Miles with Nick Miles on FM News 101 KXL. Buckle in.
Sunday morning, time to talk cars for the next 60 minutes on your automotive weekly radio show. I'm Nick Miles, and you're listening to America's automotive radio show, locally created, nationally celebrated. This is Test Miles, and this morning our crew includes Misfits, Rapscallions, Ne'er-do-wells Jr., the intern Sean Walker, and also Oli the Viking Volvo seller. All right, this is the part of the show when we like to talk about the cars that we've been test driving for the week. So what have we been in? I have actually had a very enjoyable week inside the Audi A4 All-Road. Or is it A6 All-Road? I never quite know. The Audi All-Road. It's a 5-door wagon, highly competitive vehicle in the luxury wagon segment. It is some light off-duty capable. It has great sports and handling, excellent crash test ratings, and all round a really great vehicle, except for the price, because I can't afford one, and I really do want one. Although they do start at mid-40s. By the time I've optioned the boxes out, I can get it to over $60,000. So high quality. The bad parts about the vehicle is it has some very interesting layout problems. I will tell you the one thing that I think Audis and VWs lack is the amount of USB ports in this vehicle. You really have to go with the old cigarette lighter outlets if you want to charge anything, whereas something like the Tahoe has 15 separate outlets for USBs. This, I haven't scoured it from top to bottom, but in a quick look, I couldn't find a single one to plug my phone into. It has a 2-liter turbo 4-cylinder engine, 220 horsepower, 8-speed automatic, all-wheel drive, very necessary in the Northwest. 24 miles a gallon combined. This is 21 city, 28 highway. So what does it compete against? Well, that's a difficult question. Because it is a luxury wagon, it really competes against BMW's 3 and 5 series wagons. But if you look at what wagons are out there, you can also look at the Outback from Subaru and also the Golf Sport Wagon. So it's hard. Wagons seem to be much more of a luxury vehicle. Mercedes, Audi, BMW have wagons, and then just VW and Subaru are the non-luxury wagons out there. Am I missing anyone? Is there another non-luxury wagon?
Acura's.
That's a luxury.
Oh, I guess.
And the TSX wagon, I think,
but it's not priced
no longer made
as bad as them. I mean, it would compete more with the Subaru.
So TSX is $30,000. Base, and then 35 with the tech package.
Yeah,
so,
but you're talking that versus 60,000 with the Audi.
Well, so that's starting. Audi starts at 43, so it is $10,000 more, but it's a bigger vehicle as well.
I guess, but yeah, I mean, you pretty much no wagons out there, and there should be, because wagons are an awesome vehicle.
They are, although I think people are going away from smaller vehicles, so slower vehicles. Everybody wants something that is the same height. Once you start going higher, why would you want to be lower than everybody else? It's like my parents looking for a new vehicle right now. They're saying, you know, we really like cars, but everybody else is driving sedans, so it's a problem. You know, we don't understand. Everyone else is driving CUVs.
And it's because everybody's thinking ahead. Everybody's buying with the threat of a possible zombie apocalypse.
You
have to have a capable car.
Thanks for clearing that up, Oli. Thanks for clearing that up. All right, so 24 miles a gallon. We talked about that. There are Premium, Premium Plus, and Prestige. I really would like this vehicle, $43,325. Also this week, while on a trip to California, was driving the Dodge Charger RT Scat Pack 392 Shaker. This is a 4-door, full-size sedan, although it's difficult now because I think the EPA call it a mid-size sedan, but Dodge call it a full-size sedan, so there's some confusion over that. Quick acceleration. Boy, this thing is amazing. Strong brakes, roomy interior, high-quality materials for Dodge. They've really knocked this one out of the park. Let me tell you my favorite trick with this vehicle. I like to sit it on the sidewalk outside a restaurant, go into the restaurant and eat, and then when people walk by coming off of the beach, I like to start it, and you just can tap the key fob twice, and it starts. It's people go crazy. They're like, whoa, what was that? The sound of this vehicle is unbelievable. The bad things about it is the ride is a little firm, and it has limited rear visibility. things I can definitely live with. 6.4 V8, 485 horsepower, 8-speed automatic, rear-wheel drive, 25 miles a gallon on the freeway. What does it compete against? The SS, the Taurus Show. Those are probably the only vehicles that it competes against, because any other
Did you
powerful,
say the SS?
Yes.
Oh, okay, sorry.
The only other powerful vehicles in that class tend to be luxury. So its competition is very limited. There are only two. Is the SS rear-wheel drive?
Yes, it is.
Right. So there are only two. The Charger and the SS are the only two rear-wheel drives. I guess the Show is front-wheel drive, isn't it?
Yeah.
Or all-wheel drive, which is kind of the Taurus Show. $40,990. By the time I check the boxes, I think I'm about $48,000 on this. So that's great. Sean, what have you been driving?
I've been driving the Honda HR-V, and my first impression about this car is I'm shocked that when I first hopped into it, it didn't look like a Honda. Totally going with a new interior styling, and it's just impressive because I'm so used to Hondas and them being kind of just there and being a Honda, but they're going outside the box. They're thinking everything different about the car, and it's great. Great little drive in town and fun styling. The gas isn't that, or the MPG isn't that great on it. I was only getting 28 miles to the gallon versus a lot of its competitors, but I mean, it's still a fun car. Some of the tech in it's basically like their Honda blind spot, Honda collision, lane departure. I mean, for this little car and starting only at,
$19,195. I happen to know that by heart. Sorry.
Because you want one of these. We were actually talking about this.
Yeah.
If it had more off-road capability, you'd buy it in a heartbeat. But, I mean, it's a nice vehicle.
Well, I don't know. It doesn't have to have off-road capability for me. I think one of the things about this vehicle is if it gets wet and it gets icy here in the Northwest, I want to be able to get home. If I'm out somewhere at Clackamas Town Center, Lloyd Center, if I'm out walking the dogs at the park and it starts to snow on my way home in the winter, I just want to make sure that I can get home in something. I don't have to, push my way through the snow.
Although you and I were driving it up in Mudfest, up in some muddy roads about a month ago, and it still handled pretty nicely in the mud.
No,
and
it does.
some puddles.
I think this is going to be a huge seller. I think this will be the number one SUV for them.
I totally agree. Like I said, to me, it didn't feel like a Honda. It didn't drive like a Honda. It was so much better. It shocked me from what the value of the car actually is. And I'm not talking anything bad about Honda. It's just this is like the next step in evolution for them.
Right.
And every car should go that way. It's They
definitely set the bar high. I think that bar is going to get higher. I was on a mammoth tour around the country this week. We did Phoenix, LA, San Diego, Sacramento, and I saw new ones on the street in every city, which is quite amazing.
And in as little as this car is, if you fold down all the seats and you're an outdoors person, you could fit an 8-foot kayak in it.
Right.
So there's space in it as well.
We're going to talk about the rear space because we're going to bring that up in the last segment of the show. But we're going to get to break early today because we have kind of a cool show lined up for you. We've talked about the cars that we've been driving, but in the studio this week are the Northwest's two premier racers. Kyle Keenan and Cindy Lux are going to be in studio together for the first time in an interview anywhere in the world. It's going to be right here on Test Miles as we talk about the status of racing in the Northwest. We're going to get some fun facts about them that you didn't know, and we're going to talk about how their careers are panning out. It's going to be a fun-filled, gas-guzzling show today, this morning on Test Miles. Stay tuned. I'm Nick Miles.
It's Test Miles on FM News 101. Test Miles, like NASCAR, but with one right turn. TestMiles.com.
Welcome back to Test Miles on FM News 101 KXL Automotive Radio Show, live from our studios in downtown Portland. Listening to previous shows can be done quite simply by going to our website, testmiles.com.
Here's a fun fact you can press your friends with. Kyle has a Boston Terrier named Lugnut.
We had other fun facts about Kyle, but we can't use them on air because it would be wrong. Hey, Cindy Lux and Kyle Keenan are here. Hi, guys.
Hey, good morning. How we doing?
Good. So the first time, Kyle tells me you've never done an interview together.
No, we haven't. This is our
Really?
first go at it, so bear with us.
But no, it's going to be fun. It's going to be fun. So if you guys don't know much about the Kyle and Cindy, then shame on you. But I have a few little fun facts here. I did a bit of research. And some surprises, hopefully, too, or some things that startled me a bit. So let's talk about Cindy to start with. She's won 12 road race championships, more than 75 victories, over 150 podium finishes, and nearly 50 pole positions. Cindy has a 12 career road racing title, which include the American Le Mans Series Women's Global GT Series in 99, the SCCA NORPAC T1 Class Championship 03 through 06 or 03 and 06?
Let's
just put you down for every year.
That's kind of
We'll put you down.
Who knows?
Honors including a Lifetime Achievement Award from the Oregon Motorsports Museum, was the Oregon SCC National Driver of the Year in 03, blah, 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 4 pages.
Blah, blah.
Yeah, I mean, there's just a lot of stuff. As far as Kyle is concerned, it says in his bio, by the way, he's 5'10". Does anyone have a tape measure? Because I know he's not 5'10".
With shoes on.
With his hat.
Yes.
Maybe with his hat.
With his hat. He makes fun of me being 5'4". I know he's not 5'10". He's from Vancouver, Washington. What does he like to do in his spare time? Sims racing, apparently, wakeboarding, graphic design, RC car racing, and hockey. But for those people that have never seen a picture of Kyle, he does have all his front teeth, so don't worry too much about that. He was 2014 B-Spec National Champion and SCCE Club Racer. He was named Club Racer of the Year is that a fan vote? Or is that SCCA?
Yeah, what they do is they take they take 5 or 6 drivers and then put it up to a fan vote. So they take like 60 to 75,000 racers nationwide and then narrow it down from there.
Excellent. So clearly very popular. Got behind the wheel at age 7, go-karts, which his dad restored. Basically, he does a lot of fun racing stuff, and he also mentors people in racing. So we should get that out of the way. Hey, Cindy, I came across something really interesting when I did a search on you.
Wait a minute. Time out.
So IMDb, Internet Movie Database, comes up with a movie, a movie you did called Racing Naked.
No, okay. Where's the mute button? Where's the cut button? That thing is still on there?
It's I was clearly surprised.
That's a little play on words.
Oh, I know. I kind of actually didn't go. I didn't go naked. I was like, nay, no child naked when I thought it. But so you have a movie.
Yeah, don't be. Yeah, one could call it that, but it's not. It was actually just a show, and it was kind of behind the scenes of a team when we first started in World Challenge. And they did a trailer, and it was just basically racing naked. And then from there, it was a matter of just getting picked up, which it didn't. Thank kind of goodness, but. But yeah, they, as a film crew, kind of followed us around for a year.
You know, Tess Miles is going to do their research before we have you guys on and find out about it. But one interesting thing during reading the script of that, it says that you mortgaged, you couldn't find the sponsor pulled out of your career in the beginning, and you remortgaged your house to pay for it. How's that going?
Good.
Because when you get into racing, if you want to make $10 million in racing, you start with $100 million.
Yeah. So we're kind of living out our car outside the studio here, so if you can kind of drop off some food, it'd be great. But it's kind of a bad deal. A couple of weeks. So actually both of us had to kind of do something pretty drastic, but it all ended well. It was a chance, and we took it, and it was good.
So I love stories. I mean, the great story is that clearly you took some big risks at the beginning, and it paid off for you.
Yeah, it is. And it's like everything, same thing. Kyle would probably say the same thing. It's just you got to roll the dice. And sometimes you kind of, it's kind of keep swinging the bat. One of these days it's going to hit. And, you just got to believe in it and do it and just keep trying. Just never give up. So it was a questionable looking back now. Would I do it again? I don't know, but it was at the time, it was the right decision, and knock on wood.
I mean, if you believe in something big, if you believe in something, you can make it happen. I honestly believed that car entertainment was a viable thing to do, and I gave up my corporate job to do car entertainment, and it's worked out really well so far. So if you give up something for what you love and you believe in it, I think it really works. Now, the last time we talked to you, some big news broke right after you were here in the studio. You were getting ready to go to Trans Am races, and you had to pull out.
I did. And it was one of those deals in your career, you're kind of cruising out of the gym or whatever it may be and getting ready for a red-eye flight. And I wish I was saying I was doing something fancy, but actually ended up tearing my knee up, tore the meniscus out of it pretty bad, and had to miss the first race down in Homestead, which was, legitimately hours away when I was supposed to board the plane. So pretty major injury. I've driven through broken arms, broken ribs, broken whatever, and I'm sure Kyle has too, but this one I couldn't even physically walk whatsoever. So things have progressed. It's been 6 weeks now. We were kind of holding off on surgery. The doctor's kind of like, kind of trying not to do too much cortisone shots to get me through the year. But I think we'll be all right for the rest of the year until the off season. We'll get it taken care of then.
So have you raced since the injury?
Yeah. So yeah, it's kind of this year has been very much of a humbling year. We had our last race Memorial Weekend at Lime Rock. And went out there with the new car, knew everything, and the fourth lap out, the motor decided to kind of lay down, and from there I was a spectator for the rest of the weekend. So for whatever reason, there's years where the racing gods, have never really, just don't look upon you. But it's interesting. It's fired me up more. It really has. It was difficult for the physical of me. Then all of a sudden I have car failure, which never happens in the Viper, never. But so it's all right. We're gearing up. We're going to actually go back in a couple weeks and attend the June sprints back at Road America, and then from there we'll go back to the Trans Am Series and do Brainerd and a bunch of other races. So we'll be all right. I think my belly's kind of getting lit up pretty hardcore. So I think we'll be fine.
And tell me about the new car. So this is a Viper?
Correct.
Is this the based off of the new one they just came out with?
No,
the ARC?
It is not. It is not. The ACR, the new one's coming out. It's too new to get classified. We actually going to do some testing on that probably later on this year. But for right now, we're running what we call an ACRX. It's like a GT2 spec, club spec, with a few more goodies that we can add to it for the Trans Am Series. So it's a stout piece. It's a good piece, But the cool thing about that series, it's an hour and a half long. And trying to keep tires, and we're the slowest cars, and we're doing 160 miles an hour, as it is. So keeping tires underneath it, keeping everything else has been kind of a learning curve. But at the next race, they're going to combine all three classes, and right now they're up to 71 cars on there. So it's going to be, I love it. It's just the closer, the more cars, the better beat and banging it is. So it's fun.
I can't tell you enough how pleased we are to have you back racing again, because that was a pretty big scare. Kyle, have you been racing?
Yeah, I've ran a couple club events here in Portland, and it's been good.
Did you win?
Yeah.
Well, then it is good. We'll find out more about the club events when we come back on Test Miles. We're going to take a break for the CBS News. When we come back on Test Miles, we're going to find out more about what's going on with our guests Cindy Luggs and Kyle Keenan in studio here. The first time ever done a radio interview together, and we're going to find out the update on what's going on in the Northwest racing scene. You're listening to Test Miles on FM News 101. I am Nick Miles.
Throw it in neutral and coast in with testmiles.com. Favorite us, tweet us, friend us, love us, all at testmiles.com.
Live from our studios in downtown Portland on a Sunday morning, this is America's Car Radio Show. We'd like to thank you for being part of the Car Nation. For more fun facts and car information, go to our Facebook page. It's Test Miles, ENT. ENT's for entertainment, by the way.
Hey, here's a fun fact you can impress your friends with. Cindy Luggs is a brown belt in karate, and her first job was a cherry picker. So don't mess with her.
Cindy's got her head in her hands right now, just in case you couldn't see on the radio, which you probably can't.
I threw this question at her, and she was all in a panic, so she was just spitting stuff out. I was like, let me take this one and this one. And
wait, what's wrong with any of that? I would pay good money to see you and Kyle fight if you're a brown belt in karate, because he's only 5'4".
Yeah, but I can run. Well, he can run too. I don't know.
You don't want to be running with that knee, though. The last thing we need is you out
I'd have
on
to poke him in
injury.
the eye or something.
Yeah, just kick her in her bad knee and we'd be good to go.
Wait, we could probably do like a pay-per-view on Periscope with you two.
Would it pay for our racing? We'd be up for that.
Like the karate.
Dang.
Kyle
I
and
had it there,
Cindy
Kyle.
throw it down. Well, then you could race afterwards. I'd be good with that.
Whatever it takes. A few black guys will be all right, right?
Cindy Lux and Kyle Keenan are our guests today here in the studio on Test Miles and FM News 101 KXL, talking about their racing. So, Kyle, you've been running a few races over the last few weeks. Tell me what you've been running and how you've been doing.
Yeah, I've been running a Mazda Miata. There's a really good spec series here locally called Spec Miata, and all equally prepared cars, about 120 horsepower at 2,300 pounds. Spec tire and everything else like that. So it kind of comes down to driving, and you really got to be perfect with your driving. And so I've been able to win the 3 races that I've ran so far this season. Getting ready.
So you're going up against exactly the same car. It's kind of like the celebrity series that they have before the Grand Prix, where they put all these celebrities in the same cars.
Correct.
So where did the advantage is not the vehicle, the advantage is your driving skill. So why are you beating the other drivers? Clearly you have a better skill, because otherwise you wouldn't be winning, or you just can see the gaps where they can't. What's the deal?
I don't know. I mean, I think a lot of it is just experience. You know, I have a really good amount of experience and a good wealth of prior knowledge, I guess, before coming into the road racing stuff. So I don't know, really.
So take me through the races in your head. What's happening in those races? Are the drivers less experienced than you? Are they making mistakes? Are you seeing gaps where they're not seeing it? What's the advantage?
I'd say it's mistakes. Just for instance, you might go a little bit wider than in a corner than you should per se, and I'd say consistency is probably the reason why we're winning. Is just because I can be consistent throughout the duration of the race, and consistency is everything. Anybody can run a fast lap, but to be able to be consistent the entire race and be in the same pace, I think that's where I personally believe all the advantage is.
Right, it's like runners in a sense too, isn't it? You can push yourself really hard on one lap, but then you're kind of exhausted, and you got to keep it up for the whole race. So exactly. I completely get that. Now is this a playtime for you? Because really you were in the Kia Rio 5.
Yeah,
that's your car, but this is sort of a departure from that, right?
Yeah. I ran the Mazdas for years, still have one, and so this is just kind of a fun way for me to keep my skill set up. Obviously the Miata and the Kia are, one's rear wheel drive, one's front. So it provides a really good mix of, I guess, driving technique and driving ability. And so it's a really good refresher for me to get back into Miatas and driving, because they're actually a much more difficult car to drive than the front wheel drive cars. I mean, they're easy cars to drive, but they're really difficult to drive right at the limit for half an hour, and the tires don't last, kind of like, Cindy was saying with the Trans Am car. Obviously we don't go 160 miles an hour, but tire's a tire.
Right. I want to ask you both a little bit of a question. Obviously races come around once every couple of weeks, once a month, or once every 2 weeks, right? So what are you guys doing in between? Is it all prep? Is it downtime? Because you both work on cars, you both have shops, you both get your oil under your nails. So what goes on in the downtime when you're not racing?
Well, many years ago, I got kind of poo-pooed out of the shop. I used to work on the cars, and of course, that's when mostly out of I usually cut myself or go to the hospital or something like that. But no, I just been, for me to prep. Actually, I'm in it's kind of I'm probably in a race car probably 3 to 4 days a week. Right. I just got back last night doing some testing. I was telling Kyle on this new Ford GT350R. That's coming out here shortly, and then I take off Wednesday to head back to Charlotte, and I'm going back there to kind of changing hats a little bit from my Dodge per se, and going back to train all the NASCAR drivers in the Ford ranks. They have their first road race coming up, so I'll be working with Joey Logano to Brad Keselowski to Darrell Wallace, all those guys. So I've got 14 NASCAR drivers that I'll spend the day with in Charlotte, doing some training with that. So keeping busy, and definitely in the car. I mean, and that's what's nice about, I'm very blessed the amount of seat time that I get. But for my own personal racing, I try to help as much as I can. I help by basically buying them lunch and treats and all that stuff. But I've learned over the years is to get out from underneath the car. So I go faster that way.
So I know a lot of training. I mean, apart from being on the Dodge team driver, you've been doing some stuff with Ford, and you're test driving these new cars. Now, if that GT350R, is that the one without air conditioning? Right?
That is correct. And the carbon fiber wheels.
Yes.
Oh yeah.
Yes. So and then there's the GT350, the regular one, which is kind of like the souped-up street model. But this is more of a track vehicle. How much of a departure from the 350 is the R version?
It's a departure, but the GT350 is quite a stout piece. And what really impressed me was the shocks. So if you get a chance to read about those shocks, with the magnetic,
I'm going to be driving that car.
No, it's absolutely probably. I was actually almost blown away when I drove the street version of it. Pretty darn good. So, yeah, it's for a street production based car, and that R version is yeah, I had to take a few extra laps, and I disconnected my radio and said I couldn't hear them when they were talking me in and stuff like that. That old trick.
I've done that before.
I think Kyle's done that a few times, right?
So, Kyle, tell me what you're doing 9 to 5.
9 to 5, I'm working for an awesome company called May Awning, just off of Columbia. Everybody should give them a call if you need a nice awning or patio cover over the back of your house. In the evenings, I work on sponsorship pitches and things of that nature, as you can see there. Apologize to my boss because he doesn't pay me enough for me to say that, but it's all good.
So really, are you getting are you working in a shop? Are you working on your own car? Are you doing a lot of mechanic stuff on your vehicles?
I'd say so. My dad does 90% of everything. I kind of just handle, trying to find parts and find the funding and find sponsorships to continue to do everything. But my dad does almost everything, and that's kind of his bread and butter. He just loves working on the cars. So.
Cindy mortgaged her house to make it happen, so you should talk to your dad about that, maybe, because then you wouldn't have to work so finding it hard.
My dad has given so much.
I bet he
instead
has.
of sending me to college, he sent me to a race school.
Which 90% of the kids your age wish that had happened to them too.
Yeah, I have the best dad in the world. We'll just put it that way.
Yeah, you could have gone to racing school. So your dad's getting his hands dirty.
Yeah,
most of the time, and you're just sort of doing the business side of things.
Yeah, Dad travels with me as my mechanic, and really takes care of the cars and make sure they're all perfect. Which it's honestly, I'm sure Cindy will say the same thing. It's hard in racing because you really have to find people that you can trust, to work on your cars and stuff. Because essentially, just like driving on the road, your life is completely in your mechanic's hands, and if something fails, something happens, whatever, it's it all falls down to them. And so I always have my dad with me and travels with me and just make sure that, everything I get in is just top notch. And so it's really nice I would honestly go back to, you were asking about advantages, and I'd say an advantage that I have is that I don't necessarily need to worry about, just people leaving stuff in the trunk or something,
Right.
It's a whole different, just the level of preparation is just so much higher.
Excellent. You're listening to Test Miles and FM News 101 KXL. I'm Nick Miles. Our guests today are Cindy Lux and Kyle Keenan. If you guys hang around until the end of the show, we're going to take a quick break, but I just came off a tour of the southern or the southwest states, showing people the best cars for their dogs. Want to talk about some of those, and you guys may be able to chime into that. So you're listening to Test Miles. It's FM News 101 KXL. We'll be right back. I'm Nick Miles.
Test Miles, like NASCAR, but with one right turn. TestMiles.com.
Live from our studio in downtown Portland on a Sunday morning, it's America's Car Radio Show. We'd like to thank you for being part of the Car Nation. For more information and fun facts, please join us on our website, TestMiles.com.
Here's a fun fact to impress your friends with. 22,000 Mustangs were sold within the first day of its release.
Excellent. Unfortunately, I wasn't one of them because I wasn't born until 1985. I was recently on a tour around the country looking at cars. I took a bunch of cars with me to different TV stations, the best cars for dogs. And I wanted to talk a little bit about those. Kyle Keenan and Cindy Lux still with us, as well as the rest of the team. The cars I chose, and I don't know if you've had a chance to get into this, Cindy, but the Dodge Durango was one of the vehicles I chose. I love the Durango for multiple reasons, but one of them is when Mercedes and Chrysler were the same company, they shared a lot of technology. And that Durango is actually built on the Mercedes ML platform. A lot of people, I know Sean borrowed it off of me yesterday, and he was like, wow, I'm blown away. I still think it's the best mid-size SUV in its class. I think Chrysler or Dodge classify it as a full size, but it's actually under the EPA, it's classified as a mid-size. Because things like the Yukon are actually bigger. Have you driven it, Cindy?
I have, and you're exactly right. There's so many of those vehicles that people don't know what vehicle platform it's on. And no, there's the cool thing about that vehicle is there's so much room in the way back. I mean, honestly, we did kind of a small road trip on it and stuff, and I was floored how much room there was.
Absolutely. The captain's chairs are really good. We had animals from all the animal shelters, and we stuck in a German Shepherd in the back of that thing, and it's just perfect. I mean, that's what I take my German Shepherd. It fits the dog kennel and everything.
Well, talking about the room, I mean, literally, I used it yesterday and moved a one-bedroom, fully furnished apartment in 3 trips. And that's just how impressive it was. There's just how much room it was. And
however, the person that you moved was a minimalist. So they had like three objects there.
No, there was a lot of stuff there.
The other car that we had, some of the other cars that we had were the Honda HR-V. This, of course, has the magic seats, which is absolutely unbelievable. But I should, by the way, mention the Durango, 25 miles a gallon on the highway and $30,495 starting price. The Honda HR-V has those magic seats which fold up all the way, 56 cubic feet, really great materials on the inside, and gets 35 miles a gallon for $19,000. I like wagons for the very reason that putting a dog in a wagon is much better, especially if it's a big dog. It doesn't have hip problems. So we stuck a large dog in the VW Golf Sport wagon. That has the leatherette seats, really easy to clean, but low floor height. That has 43 miles a gallon with the diesel version, which is amazing, and $21,395 for the very base model. And then the Fiat 500L, a lot of people overlook the 500L. It's actually really roomy on the inside. It has that around view visibility, panoramic sunroof, 1.4 cylinder engine. The rear seats are stadium seating, so the back seat is higher than the front seat. So when your dog sits on the seat, it can actually see over your head, which is kind of cool. And 33 miles a gallon, the starting price of that is $20,325. Kyle, what do you take your Lugnut, your new dog, around in?
A 2013 Subaru WRX STI.
And you strap the dog
non-STI. No, he doesn't get strapped in, but we put him in his, he's got like a kennel. We set the kennel up and kind of almost wedge it between the seats so it really can't go anywhere. And then he just sits in there and can look at me. And
how much can he sit? Can you hold him in one hand now, or is he too big?
He like goes down the arm, but yeah, I can still do that. That's how I carry him up and downstairs and stuff.
He can't make stairs on his?
No, he can, but I just want to get him downstairs to the yard before he makes an accident. So
I'm starting to get the feeling that he's a bit of a foo-foo dog for you.
Oh, he's like so spoiled. So my question to you is, of these 4 cars you got here, which one would you recommend for a smaller dog like that?
That's a tough one. That really is a tough one. I would say either the HR-V or the 500L for a smaller dog. The 500L is an awesome vehicle. A lot of people just overlook it. I think it's sold as the Panda in Europe, but it's a really great car, and the room inside, the leg room inside, even somebody as tall as I am has plenty of leg room in the back of that vehicle, which is great.
Yeah, we're gonna fight about that Facebook comment you just posted. So
what? Clearly, in the picture that I took with both of you guys, I'm taller than you.
Yeah, it's the first Facebook picture I seen you in like the last 3 months, so it didn't have your shoes in it.
Well,
so
yeah, Kyle doesn't like the fact that I have more shoes than him. And it's going to be a competition.
You have like 39,000 pairs or something.
For the people that don't know, I post every time I go to an airport. It's the trendy thing to do is now post a picture of me standing on the airport carpet, just my feet. And Kyle is the one person that noticed that I have a different pair of shoes. I have shoe luggage, right? So I have like separate shoe luggage because when you're on TV, you have to wear different shoes every time you appear on TV.
Well, when you're as short as you are and the shoes are in the shot,
Right, exactly. Exactly. You just have to wear the shoes.
Kids' shoes are a lot cheaper than full-size adults. Remember that.
Cindy, do you have a dog?
Jeez. I'm not going to comment on that one. God. No, we have cats. We are Yeah, crazy cat. Just 'cause we can lock them in the house, we go off racing and feed themselves and stuff like
Probably
that.
if you
So,
travel a lot, you need cats.
yeah, it's kind of, but no, we grew up with too many dogs, St. Bernards, Labs, everything. So
All right.
anyway,
Go on,
it's all
Kyle.
good.
Make one more stab. You got one
Yeah.
more time. One more stab before the show.
I can
finishes.
totally see Cindy turning out as a crazy cat lady.
Yeah, really.
Oh yeah, totally.
But who would win between you two in a race? If we set you
which
in
vehicle?
equal cars. Well, I think it would probably have to be a Viper.
Well, I think you'd have to be in that race though. I think the three of us need to race. What do you think, Kyle? Yeah, I mean,
Yeah, I'm calling you out. In
Yeah.
fact,
Yeah.
let's throw Oli in the
chance.
mix and Sean. Let's do it. How about the five of us? We go and
actually,
try it
you know
out.
what? Let's do this. We'll put them in the Vipers, and you and I will be in the Miatas. I think
Perfect.
we'll still win.
All right.
Yeah, I'm good with that.
Sounds like we have a TV plan hatching. You're listening to Test Miles. More at the website at testmiles.com. Thank you to the whole team. Thank you to Cindy Lux, Kyle Keenan. You can get more from their websites and more from our websites. We love you. We'll be back next week at the same time. I'm Nick Miles.